I'm introducing it to you like you didn't know about it. You told me about
It's
it.
it seemed like a fairly measured response.
Yeah, I thought like
Now you can critique my. I'll try and
yeah.
like.
Go ahead. Yeah, you give it a spiel on.
I'll give like a quick summary, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Basically, she was explaining how some people who there are people who don't want to be vaccinated because they feel like they're in good enough health and in good enough shape and
Mm-hmm.
take care of their body in a good way that they don't need it, and that doesn't mean that they're rejecting science or that they're anti-vaccinations or anything like that.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
that fair?
Yeah, I think it's there's like that's pretty much what. Well, like the exact. I'll just read it. So then, well, cause I could see like different ways that people react to this, and depending on whether they agree with her or not, like depending on emotionally
Yeah.
how they locked in. But and I can't read, so this doesn't help. But people don't seem to understand. People don't seem to understand that just because some folks don't wear masks, don't want the shot, don't listen to the media, or live in fear, it doesn't mean they don't believe the virus is real or think they can't get it. They know it was created to harm humanity. So that part, like I could see how some people think they know it was created to harm humanity. It's like kind of feeds into a conspiracy theory about like it being manufactured or like or if she's just taking it to mean like just viruses in general are just parasitic and that's how they operate. So so we understand it from that spectrum versus not. But so just depending on whether you agree with her or not, you might look at that a little differently. But then there's more. And it says they simply choose to build up and trust their own immune system like they've been doing all their life. If they get it, they will deal with it. It's a God given choice. I know this kind of faith is impossible for some to comprehend, but lean not on your own understanding. Before you claim they are putting others in danger, you should do your own research to learn if that's accurate or if that's actually true. um, yeah, you can't change anyone but yourself, so do you. And then she has a real thing at the bottom. But yeah, I think that there's four different ways to take that. Like people who agree with what she's saying, they're just like they're upset at the outcry of people who are railing against it. And it's like, oh, how come? Like, why are you upset by what she's saying? And then there's people who agree, but then they think that she could have said it in a little better way, some bedside manner in order to communicate better to people who don't necessarily agree with that perspective.
Uh-huh.
And then there's then people like disagree but are like measured in the way that they think that it's like oh well I just I think it's a you're just misconstruing my lack of understanding for my sense of urgency of the pandemic
Yeah.
type of thing. And then there's people who are just do just flat out disagree with it and like disagree with her and disagree with the whole not wearing a mask thing, and they're just like, oh, this is disinformation, and you're helping feed this bad narrative, and how terrible this is, and this is why, and just like a hyper inflammatory response to what she's saying.
Yeah.
So because I probably like I lie in the camp where like, oh, I agree, but I could I think it could be said a little better just because I could see where at some points where it could be cause some contention, but especially the part when she's talking about how it was created to harm humanity, or like, oh, that kind of faith is impossible for some people to comprehend, but just don't lean on your understanding. And she starts off with like, oh, people not understanding, so it's like it's almost like oh well, you just don't know. Well, let me. It's like a lateral type of thing where it's like, oh well, I'm at this higher level than you are, so if you don't understand this, then maybe you should just open up your mind a little bit more to get to my level. and some people are just super prideful in their positions and what they think and how they believe that they got inflamed by that.
I think a lot of it was just virtue signaling.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say a lot. Well, I think there's a lot of people who are upset, who like really think that this is a world-ending event type of thing, and they're just they can't comprehend why somebody would ever say don't wear masks or don't take the vaccine. They think like we're all gonna die
There
if we
was
don't do
like
that.
some poll that was conducted, and I think, oh, I forget the percentages, but like the majority of the people that were polled thought that it was like a 10% death rate.
Yeah.
And then people were critiquing this. They're like, this is like all media driven. Like,
Yeah.
how is there a poll taken where the majority of the people are 1,000% off the mark? Because I think that's what it comes out to, right?
Yeah, because it's like point.
It's 10, and then it's like point.
Yeah.
Depending on, it's either 0.5 or 0.05.
Yeah.
That I think fluctuates, but it's like you're 1,000% off the mark.
Yeah.
On what the death rates are, and that's like astounding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so people just, and that goes in line with what we were kind of saying before. People who have an idea in their minds, it's kind of hard to change that. Just like no matter what kind of stats that you throw at them, if you show them like, oh no, this
like
is the
Australia
stats,
just announced that they're having, I think 21 or 2,200 police officers are being assigned to specifically enforce people like to not like leave their houses.
Yeah, that's intense.
And like 5 people died. Like it wasn't.
Out of that.
Not.
Not
no, like 5 people died of COVID.
Oh, okay.
It was like a few people died, and then they do this.
The hyperbolic.
Like I don't think you can. I was reading somewhere. I don't think you can leave a 5-kilometer radius of where you live.
Holy shit. I saw something
you
about that.
You cannot leave the 5-kilometer radius of where you live.
I hope you got your real estate near a grocery store, because that's not a lot of space.
Yeah, they have checkpoints where people are like checking where their locations are.
Oh shit!
And they're issuing out fines, and they're. You already read the article where they're murdering dogs.
That's what I saw.
Or pets, I should say.
Yeah, oh god. Yeah, that's insane. So that's a little much. But it's like if you just look at it from and not Australia, like Australia, that's just too extreme. So that's an example of I don't think that people who have instituted those measures are virtue signaling. I think they really think that this is like an apocalyptic level event, and they need to deploy every power that they feel is necessary.
Or it's a government usurping their powers to enact control.
I think anybody you give like people that kind of power, it's bound to happen. Because everybody who's in power, like, I mean, when anybody's in charge... It's
funny hearing people that are trying to, like, escape Australia.
It's dangerous out here. Oh, what is it, the 8-foot spiders?
Is that another...
the boxing kangaroos? Nah, it's the government crackdown. It's like, wow, really? Yeah, but it's like when people have that kind of power, it's like, they want to... They think that they're right. They think that there's nobody else who can do the job as good as they do, and that can be good or bad. If it's good in the sense that they're confident. So it's like, all right, there's some weight behind their decisions. We would hope, and then but it's bad in the sense that they're gonna. Oh, I know what's good for people, or people are gonna react if X amount of people die, and it's not gonna be under my watch. So I'm gonna do everything necessary in order to make sure that it doesn't happen. I'm going to utilize every tool that I have, every what should we call it? Yeah, every tool in the in my arsenal to make sure that this doesn't happen. Not on my watch, and then they just shut everybody down, and then it's like, yeah. So that all that to just say that some people are just. I'm so sure some people are virtue signaling over it, but I think pretty sure there's some people who really think that it's just absolutely terrible. And for those people, instead of and maybe she knew all this. Maybe she did it like a little, made her come like just like somewhat not as tempered as possible on purpose, just to have the conversation in the first place, just to invoke the conversation.
Yes.
And that's what I think. But if you disagree with her,
well, social media has made it difficult to have like just nuanced conversations and just open dialogue.
Yeah,
because it's all about
snapping back.
Either supporting or attacking the opinions, and it's just a little crazy.
Yeah. Whereas like I would yeah, shit. Nah.
There he is.
Bitch. Little bitch. Little fresh and fit fly. Fresh and fit bitch fly.
They're starting to call them twin sisters.
Oh shit. That's funny. But turn off this fan. Yeah, I think some people, yeah, maybe she did it. Maybe she had that post set up just to like as a complete thought. Just because of the nature of social media. Um, I don't have a Twitter. I had one at one point because I was trying to keep up with. I was like, oh, that's a good way to keep up with what's going on, and then
you slowly figured out that it was not a good way
bitch, to. Yeah, just a bunch of bitches that like just it's a bitch way of communicating.
Well, there's now a ton of bots, and there's like the Russian accounts. Like, there's so much crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, I just don't like it. You know, I the more personable you can get, it's like the better. But even with that, it's like you can't communicate like 100% what's set up in your mind. So it's.
I mean, that's why podcasts are becoming so popular.
Yeah, I mean, look at us. I mean, we tripled our numbers, you know.
And you have Spotify giving out these like insane contracts to people.
Yeah, we went from like 1 to 5 in 4 short weeks. You know, it's crazy.
It's amazing.
Thank you, brother, sister. No, that's cool, man. I like it. Every little bit counts, man. It's one brick at a time. But yeah, with Talia, it's like the way that I would like to have liked that conversation to have gone. It's like, all right, she says that, and then somebody goes like, "Hey man, like I don't like the way she said like."
Well, it's Twitter understand. That you're not gonna get that on.
Yeah, I don't. But in my fantasy world, this is how I would like it to play out. Like I would. This is how I'd like it. Listen, world, if I had absolute power, like I was saying, is terrible for anybody to have. This is the way that I would make you communicate. But I would imagine that somebody like who disagrees but is able to formulate solid thoughts and converse with someone who has a different opinion would look at that and explain in a nice tweet back more eloquently than I could say that well I just it's not a lack of understanding thing. It's like I understand that you believe in your capability of fending off against it. I just believe that the every little bit helps. Just because I have a locked door doesn't mean I shouldn't get an alarm system and a shotgun. You know, so I want to arm myself with as much defensive capabilities as possible, and I want my whole neighborhood to be safe. So I want to encourage everybody else to do the same. You know, if they decide not to,
you want to have your own personal armory.
Yeah. It's like, but it's like, well,
you're
like
becoming people, whiter by the day.
Yeah, yeah, it's West Virginia's fault. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have a Michael Jackson disease.
You did move to the whitest state in the country.
You know what's funny about West Virginia? It has all this these funny jokes about it with like with like cousin inbreds and da da da. But when me and the missus went to get our marriage license and then go to the course, and the first question that they asked was, we have to ask, but are you guys related? And I was like, no, and I was offended because I was like, I thought this was West Virginia. So I thought it was okay here. What the fuck? But no, but the funny thing about West Virginia, it's the only state that was created to spite the Confederacy. They were just like, whoa, Virginia's too racist for us. We're gonna create our own state. And now it's just the butt of everybody's jokes. But then we have not Louisiana, because you guys have New Orleans, so that's cool. Mississippi and Alabama to shit on, so take that.
West Virginia. We're not Mississippi.
But yeah, I would imagine somebody this is my make believe cool world, like talk to Tali about like, hey, like it's not that we don't understand. It's just that every little bit counts, and then like spark a whole conversation about like, okay, well, this is how I did my calculus, and I think that this extra defense system is necessary versus, oh, well, I have the different calculus, and I just don't trust that defense system because they've lied to me before in the past, so I feel some kind of way about it, or they're financially incentivized in order to operate the way that they do without any kind of repercussions because they protected themselves against being sued, even though they have fleets of lawyers. And I have some concerns. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And then like at the end of the conversation, it's like, oh, I understand you, you understand me, and it's like no one's convinced, but it's cool. Like it's just, all right, we're different, and now everybody understands each other, and then we move forward from there, like on to the next thing, and then we like you were saying one day like about like how people used to talk to each other like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway, you see the Bills game yesterday. It's like people were able to move on with their daily lives and focus on other.
Or you'd get upset. You'd be like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know.
Yeah.
But like it would be such a surface level thing because you're mutually understand social dynamics. You're like, well, I don't want to ostracize this person because I might need this person. It was like a subconscious thing.
Yeah. So.
But now we're getting more and more removed from that social interaction.
Yeah.
So we don't have to interact with people. So that's why people can comfortably shit on somebody from their phone or their laptop or whatever like that because there's no human connection.
Yeah. It all devolves.
You can annihilate their character and not have to deal with the actual social repercussion or social consequences of that. Either an issue with you in that society or that person physically assaulting you.
Yeah, that's a poopy action.